Here we go. What's going on, folks? This is your man, Mike Doc Rannigan, and we're here in the War Room, winning on Wednesday. Tonight, we got a special guest in the room, our friend Willie, Army veteran, Army National Guard, CEO, Shakebake Media, sports podcast, the OT, a couple of networks. He's got a lot of good information to drop with us today. But we know how we get our Wednesday started. KC, the Law Dogs in the house as well, with my man Evan in the background making us look good. So he stays back there. So he's way better looking than us. So it works out for us.
No, hashtag fact.
Right. And so we're gonna kick it over real quick to my man KC. He's had a wonderful weekend. I've seen some of his photos. Big birthday trip. I don't spoil all of his wins, so I want to hear about him, man. I want to hear about what's going on in the Law Dogs' life this past week.
Well, look, man. Jennifer had a birthday.
Happy birthday, Jen.
Happy birthday, babe.
Happy birthday to you.
So she wanted to go to the Big Bend.
Nice.
So we did that. We went out to the Big Bend. We stayed at Fort Davis State Park. We stayed at the Big Bend out on the western end, Santa Elena Canyon end of the Rio Grande.
Is that where that photo was that you shared? I mean, it was gorgeous. I was like, wow, man, that's God's country out there.
It really is amazing. You got to get out there, man. I mean, Texas is a big place, and it's a long way to Big Bend, but it's a place you got to go. It's really, really cool. And the people are really cool. You'll have a great time. You really will. And you don't have to be some rugged outdoorsman. You don't have to pack in, everything you need to eat or kill what you're going to eat for dinner. It's not that kind of a camping trip. Right.
No, I don't think Jen would be going. Doesn't sound like her speed.
You do need to bring water.
Well, yes.
Water is critical. Yeah. Never go into the park without 5 gallons, and never get out of your truck without a camel pack with two sleeves in it. Not
because you're not only remembering your water, but I'm assuming you got some little ones that, man, they're forgetful at times.
I'm telling you, man, you get out of the truck and you're like, damn, I'm thirsty. I mean, literally, it's that dry.
Really?
That
so
dry.
It just saps you, huh?
Yeah, just right. It's super dry. And the only water between Big Bend and Balmaray is, the Rio Grande has water, and the next water is Balmaray, which is about 80 miles away. So There's a couple other places. There's one or two places in the park to get water, but
I'm sure there's some emergency spots, but I bet that water's
but
not.
They're far.
Yeah.
Buddy, they're far. So bring water. And I had a great time. Matt's 9. So a lot of this is about, it's halftime, man.
Yeah.
You gotta, it's like what you said, what you challenged me and Jeff and our other viewers, right? Do it now, right? They're young right now. Do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Go on that trip with them right now. So, and then, it's been a fantastic week.
Hey, you just got back to the work on Monday.
Got back to the work, man. Everything's been just bam, bam, bam. Daily training. I'm telling you, man, this is the best thing I ever did with my team is implement a daily train. Doesn't have to be super long. Doesn't have to be super intense. Just connecting with, we got 2 offices. You have bigger. We're going to hear about what your business and, but I mean, you have a team you got to connect with. How do you make sure you're all aligned every day? Connect with them every day.
Yeah. And that's huge.
Yeah.
I make it a point. You say that I don't do training every single day, but I make it a point to contact every one of my coworkers. Right. And I am the owner, the CEO, whatever, but I don't call them employees for me.
Right.
You guys are my coworkers.
Yeah.
Right. I die, you die.
Yeah.
Right. You die, I die type thing. And it's got to be that mentality with inside of an organization as you begin to scale. Right. You got to be able to share those core values. So loving them wins. Willie, tell me about your wins this past week, this past month, this past year. Tell us what you got going. And we're excited. Tell us what you got.
Let me tell you something about what you just said about you calling them coworkers. I consider my team and my teammates, but they're also my partners. And the reason why that is because each one has a piece of the business that they are responsible for. So it gives them the opportunity to take it on personally. So the Shakebake Media Group, and I could talk about this all day, so I'll try to condense it to about a couple of minutes. But basically, the Shakebake Media Group is a media company in which We have the Ballers Report podcast on the Warzone Sports Network. Excuse me.
You're good. You're good. Sorry, man.
We also have the Shakebake Sports Show on the BGC Sports Network. We have the hashtag Brothers of Baseball, which is dedicated to just baseball on the BGC Sports Network. We also have the hashtag Family of Baseball, which is not affiliated with any network. And then we also have a life coaching podcast that my wife and I are going to be coming out with here really soon. We're both certified life coaches in the state of Texas. So we specialize or expertise in various avenues as far as life coaching goes. And, you know, we're excited. I mean, we've got a team of people that are just incredible. We actually did what I call a super show last night where I had some guys on. I had my guys on the squad. I got some a couple of ladies in Cleveland. I have a young man in Cleveland. I have people here in Dallas. I have somebody out in Louisiana, and we just talked about the NFL and where it is at this point. But it's very exciting. And the Shakebake Media Group, if you're wondering about the name, you know, it's basically everybody has a bounce back or a shake back story. I mean, it doesn't matter what walk of life you're in, whether it's athletics, whether it's church, business, employee, relationship, whatever. Everybody can attest and can relate to somebody having a shake back story. And that's one of the things that we like to really put forth is that there's so much division out there, you know, currently.
Sure.
And one of the things that we can actually do our part in unifying or bringing unity to the table is just sharing these stories. And people can be empowered by other people's stories, and they can empower themselves by telling their story. So a lot of exciting things going on.
Willie, I'm needing them wins, though, okay?
Okay.
How
Really,
did you?
I'm taking some notes here,
What
man.
did,
I'm taking
I
some
know
notes.
he's a sports good nut right next to you, and so
Uh-huh.
this show is gonna get wild, folks. I'm telling you, but we can't move forward until I know how the heck Willie won last week,
Yeah, right on.
business and professionally.
I'm gonna
That's what
tell
I
you.
need to hear it.
I'm gonna tell you how I won.
All right.
Every day that I get up and do the same thing that I love to do, that's how I win. So you know, every day is a victory. Every single day. It doesn't matter if it's if I network with somebody and they were they were excited about what we were able to offer. Now if you want specifics,
Yes.
you want specifics.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. You know why, Willie?
Tell me why.
There's a reason, right? So I'll tell you my little win. I got to spend the day with my son and showing him what to do and show him what I do all day yesterday.
Mhm.
Right? That's at QT. And that's such a specific win for me because not only does he now have a better understanding of what I do on a daily basis, but I've now planted a seed in his brain that he has no idea that just happened, that wow, I can do the exact same thing too.
Right.
Because he became willing to take, you know what I mean? I'm willing to go out and do the work, the hard work first. So it's important when we're celebrating on wins, we want to be specific.
Right.
We want to get detailed on it.
Okay.
We want to understand it because the more I understand how I won and why I won and the route that I took to get to that win, the more I can replicate it, the more I can duplicate it, and the more I can share with it. And when that happens, what do you inevitably get? Fuckload of wins.
Okay.
Like that's what happens. So
wins on top of wins.
just winning on winning.
Yeah.
Like KC just drops them out of his pocket when he comes through the door, just W's.
Right. Well, for me this week, and particularly anytime we do a show, it is an opportunity for anybody on my team to really hone their craft.
Nice.
Become better than they were yesterday.
Good.
And ultimately, the people that are on my team that don't already have their own show, I want to be able to feed them the empowerment and the encouragement and the confidence in them that they can actually do everything to produce their own show. So every time we have a show like that, that is what happens. That's a win every single week, 4 times a week at least.
That's huge. That is huge. And so by even being able to recognize that, you're like, wow, if we're doing it 4 times, let's go to number 5, right? Let's diversify and get your own show because you committed and done it. And so that's how we stack those wins to let you know as a business owner that you're on the right track, that your processes are working, that your systems are working, that the culture that we've created for our team is working. Because if all I'm in is stacking L's, or if I'm not paying attention to how,
Right.
I got that win. Because some of those wins just may be the universe loving Mike.
Right.
Right. That happens, folks. Like, I don't know why the universe loves me so much, but that happens. Right. But I can't dive too deep into as to why the universe is. But I do know that, man, here's what I did. I woke up, gave a little bit of gratitude, X, Y, and Z, did the right thing. Right. All these little cliche things that we say out loud that people read on Facebook, that people see on their Instagram and in the meme. Right. I just implement it. I just do. And then the wins come. Right. So it's just really important.
Going and doing leg day, doing this broadcast, right? Going to the gym, doing the routine. And then the next thing you know, you're like, bam.
Hey, I'm going to tell y'all something real now. I pulled up to the gym tonight. It was 4:48. I sat there and had a fight inside my brain. Saying, I was like, Mike, you can go in there. You can knock out like a 37-minute, like I had it down, like a 37-minute workout. Change over, make it through the drive-through, grab some chow, and get to the podcast tonight, and everything will be okay. Like, but the longer I fought myself, I was losing time because I didn't commit. Because the you know what I mean? Because I knew what was more important. It wasn't the gym. I can go to the gym after this
right.
Let's talk online, right? I can go to the gym in the morning, but it was that habit that drove me to the gym, right? Because I wanted that win for the day. I need to get those. I need to get my easy wins as often as possible because the force of average is out there waiting, right?
And it's not just the force; it is the force of the force.
Yeah.
We call that
like a tsunami sometimes.
Yeah, we call that the devil's outside doing push-ups.
Yeah.
Right.
That dude's getting swole, so I better get swole too. Right?
Yeah.
No doubt.
For sure. And I like that. I like that attitude. That's one of the criteria that we have at the Shakebake Media Group in terms of the operation of it. You know, we operate by the 3C method.
Okay.
You know, and if you want to know what that is, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Our audience is listening. You got them hook, line, and sinker right now.
All right. So the 3C method is basically you got to have the character, you've got to have the commitment, and you have to be consistent. And people like to throw in their discipline. Discipline is important, but I think commitment is just a smidge higher on the level of a chain than discipline is, because sometimes when you're disciplined, if it gets too hard, you might quit. But if you're committed, you know, you're gonna be more apt to stand in there a little bit longer. And then the character is the first thing. But you gotta have the character to do. You can't have one or two and not the third. They all have to be there together.
Yeah, they have to run in unison. They have to be seamless. And you're right. And the fact of the matter is just the word discipline is a horrible word. When you hear it, like, oh, it has a negative connotation.
It does.
Associated around it. Right? Because discipline, you're being disciplined. You know what I mean? It has that negative connotation. Go to the office, Mike. Right? Because I knew. but they're never gonna say, go get committed at the office, Mike. You see what I'm saying? So there's a different connotation about it. And so you're absolutely correct. Being able to distinguish those two, and it makes it real hard to call triple C with the D in it.
Well, you can, but it wouldn't flow as well.
Right.
Yeah. And something else too, just to piggyback on that, discipline, we have to differentiate the words discipline and punishment. And I think when people hear discipline, the first thing you think of is I'm being punished. That's right. It's got a negative connotation. So if we learn how to shift our mindset to understand that discipline really is meant for good. It's meant to keep you on the track, on the same track, and getting off the track would be the punishment, which is the result of being undisciplined.
Absolutely.
Okay, so a couple things I gotta.
You've been over there tapping up notes.
I've been taking some notes, but one, you can't see. Viewers can't see this, but one of my all-time most inspiring favorite head coaches is the former coach of the Oakland Raiders, later the Los Angeles Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders. And
I hope you're talking about my man.
We're talking about John Madden. That's talking about John Madden.
That's my favorite team, by the way.
Yeah. I noticed with the hat. Right on. And here's one thing that I love about John Madden and that team is that what he brought to that team, which was a commitment to excellence.
Yeah.
Right. Which is really more in line with that old Greek. And it's very popular right now, especially in veteran communities, that notion of arete, right? To be the best example of yourself. Thomas Keenan's kind of, that's a lot of what they're pushing for, right? You're going to be the best version of yourself every day. And that's what I think Coach was trying to do with the Raiders back in the 70s. It was a dog team with a bunch of washout no names, some has-been stars.
If I'm not mistaken, they had some people from the penitentiary when they first created.
It was a rough team, and
they
had a reputation and still do. They'll take anybody, right?
Yeah.
They'll take anybody. And
the Cowboys try to take that over.
Cowboys have definitely tried to take that over, and to some degree, so have the Patriots. But the point being, commitment to excellence, right? And I think words are important, and we need to define them so we can understand them, right? And an engagement or obligation, right, of being dedicated to a cause, an activity, of a discipline, right? I am going to the gym because I am going to be excellent at whatever that goal is, right? I'm going to run that triathlon. In the words of Kenny Powers, I'm going to be the best at exercise. Just kidding, right? But the idea behind that commitment to excellence and how that lifts you, how it can lift your team, lift your family, your children, your wife, whatever. Love that, man. Love that. So I had to dive into that a little bit.
No, and I love that perspective, the analogy on it, and then just understanding the definition behind it because it's powerful.
Yeah.
Right. Words are powerful when utilized either both for good and or bad, right? That's why they
can
say
be weapons.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
Absolutely.
Right? That's where that whole thing came from.
That's why we're all trying to write contracts.
Hello. You signed right here, okay?
Yeah. Check. American Express.
I don't care
Cash. How you want to do that,
Cash App, Apple Pay, social media.
Yeah,
I don't give a
Zelle. Don't forget Zelle.
Zelle,
I'll trade you some goats. Whatever's clever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Go
real.
back. But I hear a common word coming out on today's show, and that's a lot about teamwork and how if you have a disciplined team, if you had a committed team, if you have a team that stands behind the leader, how invaluable is that, right? How invaluable is it when your team embraces your culture, your core values, and become disciplined on how you want to operate as a team, as a whole, as a unison? And when you mentioned John Madden, John Madden's a good deal. He just did a big show about him this Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Something with Joe Madden. Great guy. Tons, just one of the best personalities that the world has ran across is John Madden. And you guys can love him or hate him, but the dude's brilliant when it comes to sports. But his mindset was team driven.
Exactly.
Right. And sometimes when we get into business, we go into it with the mindset of I driven. Right. How am I going to get the next deal? How am I, right? We get I driven. And so whenever we're able to remove me out of the equation and start involving a group of people, a team of people, and they begin to understand. And because I tell you what, when I started growing the Doc's roofing team, I had no idea what I was doing. Like I didn't. I just knew people were attracted to coming here. And so I said, because I removed the I out of the gig, I was like, I'm gonna start giving it away. Oh, come on, man, let's go win together.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the team vibe. All right, win together. Right. It was an unknown type of a motto around here. We're just gonna win together. You know what I mean? Because if I fail, I want my team to be there. Right? Because your team will be there when you're winning. I promise you that. I will guarantee it. And that's when you have a true team on your hands. Is when you fail, when you make those uh-ohs, when you lose money, when you lose a deal, when you get lost on a contract, when you lose a court case, when one of your shows don't make it to the right individual's ears, right? When you take those heavy losses and your team's there and they go, Mike, it's going to be all right, but we're going to kick the world back in the teeth. You know what I mean?
And you know what that is?
Discipline?
No. Oh. Well, I mean, yeah, but that's a Shakebake story.
Yeah.
It's a Shakebake story these Shakebake stories are forever being in the process of being written. It doesn't matter how you think as a leader or even as a teammate, how you may have reached the pinnacle. There's something along that process that you've had to overcome that you can tell that story about. And I think that's just so critically important that people know that.
Yeah, and I often remind people that my story is no different than anybody else's story out there. The only difference is I had the courage to share it. I had the courage to get on this platform and share my experience, strength, and hope. Right, my war stories. Casey does the same thing. He shares those failures. He shares the hiccups, the bumps, the bruises, the wins, and all that shit. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's just what it is. And there's tons of Shakebake stories. You're right. You're 1,000% right. But it's when is the time that the person becomes willing to share their story? What is their perspective on how they got to that W? Right? We need to shine more light on the different paths to freedom. Right? Because at the end of the day, there's a cost to freedom. And if you look down that road less traveled, you'll see what the true cost of that freedom was. Was it the divorce? Was it the drug and alcohol addiction? Was it the misuse of money? Was it the infidelity?
Amen.
Was it the right? What was that path that took you to freedom? What what was my perception of what freedom looked like? Right? There's a cost to that. And in order to achieve freedom, I can't do it by myself. And that was the hardest probably lesson I had to learn was shit. We didn't win the war with just one guy.
No.
Right?
True that.
The United States of America is not free because of one individual. Fair? It was a group of people, of like-minded individuals that decided to say, we're not drinking tea no more. We're throwing it in the river, or however the story goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Back-to-back world champs. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand and embrace the team, and the team has to also be willing to embrace the suck.
Yes.
Right. And I know you've been telling me that your team is now firing on all cylinders, right? And they're doing that daily training. Like what? And you said that they're really taking kind to it. What are you doing to hold them accountable? What is the account? That's got to be a lot of work. That accountability steps.
Well,
and a lot of excuses got to rear their nasty head some days. No,
I mean we have a culture of no excuse.
FYE, huh?
Yeah, we have a very similar to your culture of fuck your excuses. Sorry, Keith.
Hashtag sorry, Keith.
And
I was wondering what FYE stood for.
He's a friend and a frequent and avid listener and viewer, and he appreciates it when we clean the lingo. It's not so spicy.
Not so spicy.
And,
not so free.
Yeah. So anyhow, the fact of the matter is, they get a report card every day, right? Are you doing your training every day, right? I mean, it's automatically generated, and then we drill every day, right? And put your hand up, don't put your hand up. I'm gonna call on you, right? We're gonna be like, hey, Doc, yeah, I saw you did your training. Let's do this drill. Bam, right? I'm gonna put you in a situation where you're the customer, you have something going on. There's some reason you're not moving forward in a transaction, in a deal, and we're just gonna work.
We'll figure it out.
Get everybody talking about it, right? To where they're engaged, right? It's not just listening to the boss drone on, right? And because that's yes, that can be teaching, but that's not an effective.
It's archaic for sure.
It's just not how people learn.
Nah, they learn by pulling ideas from one another. So let me ask you another question, and maybe you can shed some light on it for me.
Sure,
Willie. So I've often found myself, big team meeting, boom, flow, bam. Everybody's in flow stasis.
Yeah.
Right? We're cooking. Everybody's like, boom, I got you. Uh-oh. Coming up on the end of the clock, right? Because regardless, folks, like we got STDs. We got shit to do. I can't train all day. I just can't. So how do you define that stop time, right? When you're in that motion, in that flow, in that groove, right? Where you're making these strides within inside of your team. You know what I mean? Where do we get those? Because you're doing it daily, right?
Daily.
Yeah.
Right. So that's got to be
Well, you
How
know,
you turn that off?
You got to be very innovative. I'm thinking.
yeah, and part of it is, you know, things actually, some of it's stuff we have learned and taught in this broadcast, right? So, example,
Cool.
right? We were talking about, I don't remember how many months back, sometime in the summer, we're talking about training with your team, right? And we had done some diving into, you know, well, what are the big companies doing? Like, right, emulate the great, right? You know, what does Microsoft do? What does Google do? What does YouTube do? Well, interestingly, YouTube and Google have figured out that the brain housing group has about 4.5 minutes, which is why they recommend your YouTube videos for max, you know, unless you're, you know, you got an hour long or whatever. That's especially if you got a lot of very interesting content in there, people will watch that. But for the most part, you got 4.5 minutes, right? So keeping your training now, can't get a whole lot done in 4.5 minutes, but it's like I got 37 minutes to get to the gym and get to the broadcast. And I can either be a little complainer and not go to the gym, or do it afterwards when I know I'm sure as hell not going to want. I'm just going to want to leave the broadcast and go get a Big Mac and go.
Oh, I'm not going to the gym. I didn't go. Like, I didn't go because I did not want to be late because I knew what was more important.
His mind won that battle or lost it.
No, the Patriot Business Alliance won.
Yeah.
But you're going back.
Yeah, I'm still going to go
Oh.
to my gym time. Like, I'm just not going to show up here all worn out, sweaty, you know what I mean? Unfocused. Like, it's not fair to you guys, not fair to our guests to like, whoa, why are you all jacked up? Like, oh.
But you'll go after, and some gym time is better than no gym time, right?
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the thing about the training.
Yeah,
so,
no excuses.
So, you know, 16 to 20 minutes. It's really all there is.
Gotcha.
Right. And yes, it gets into flow state, and sometimes it does run long, but then the STDs, the shit to do. Sorry, Keith. Hashtag sorry, Keith.
Yeah.
But you know that you have to get back to work. So making it at a time where it's less of an interruption. It really doesn't interfere with the lunch hour. Do it at 11:40. That's when we do it. 11:40 sharp.
Yeah.
Every day. Boom. Everybody's alarm goes off. Get on the training call. We train for 10 to no more than 20 minutes. Every once in a while, it'll run long because it'll get that flow state, right? And then everybody's like, well, I got to go to lunch. I got to do this. I got to go to get dry cleaning. I got to, everybody's life takes back. So the STDs kick in.
They're real.
Now, those are different from the STDs you took care of in the.
Those are real. Also.
In the core, right?
Those are also real.
They are real.
And they got it because of the shit they did.
Yeah. They're real in never mind.
We're not gonna.
Never mind.
We're gonna stop.
Hey, y'all start asking questions about my past.
Put that in the chat.
You know,
put that in the chat, viewers.
Yeah,
we want to know
what does he mean?
If you don't know,
now you know.
You're not gonna know.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't know.
Some things, man, we just have to just take to the grave with us. You know,
so we got a little saying around here is what you hear here when you leave here, let it stay here. Here. We're live.
Yeah.
So, but teamwork, right? Staying and understanding your commitments and your discipline, and that's going to flow right over into next week, right? We all know what next week is, 2022.
Yeah.
But it also, did you know, it's also 2022, like like also.
That's the only year ever that you will be able to make that correlation.
Right. You can use the two different types of twos.
Yeah.
The number 22 and then 2020 also. TOO 2022. But nobody wants another 2020 also.
No, negative. That year gets 1 star on Yelp. I've seen the rep. He posted a review.
He doesn't even get a review.
I mean, it's like
dumpster fire.
NA, not applicable.
Yeah, man. Like
need not apply.
Stuck at home.
Need not apply.
Hey, you're not important. You don't go anywhere for 90 days.
Yeah, ever. Ever. Just go to your basement.
Yeah.
And anyway, we digress. But 2022 is right around the corner.
It's like
right. And if you haven't, and we've been talking about this, folks, since October, right? Q4. What are we doing today so that when 22 sneaks up on us, we're ready to punch it in the mouth? right? And so you rattled off, 5 different types of shows and broadcasts. Your wife's a life coach. You're a life coach. I didn't even know you can get a certificate in being a life coach. I thought you just had to live life.
You just
live life.
Nah,
help me understand. Like, I'm a life coach. I'll tell you some shit about life.
The difference between
excuse me, STDs are for another show. Skinner is already he's already shut you down, man.
The difference between a certified life coach and an uncertified life coach is the amount of digits you put in front of that dollar sign.
Okay.
So
I'm glad you said that. Like, I really am, because is it really just, do I not have an understanding of my value? Okay. But do I really need, and I'm not discrediting papers, right? I got bachelor's degrees. I got substance abuse degrees. I have tons of certifications that I can tell people, look, I'm not lying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I also got scars that I can show people, look, I'm not lying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, I may have, a piece of paper, and I'm able to charge $100 versus $500. But I promise you, I've been to those $100, and I've been to the $500s, and I've been to the $1,000. And every time I walked out that room, they're like, when can you come back and teach?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's just some life lessons, and it's not even the life lessons. It's the perception of how you went through life and how you've made the simple changes to be the person you are today. And so in 2022, Willie, what are some of your steps that you're going to take your life coaching platform with you and your wife to that level that you foresee it to become?
Yeah, and being a life coach it's more to it than just hearing the words life coach.
100%.
Our thing is that we want to coach a person to be the best person that they've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of one of our models, and how we do that is that a person have to have the 5 abilities.
Okay.
You have to be capable, you have to be coachable, you have to be reliable, you have to be dependable, and you have to be adaptable. You have to be all those things. And just like I said about the 3C technique, you can't be just 1 or 2 or 3. You have to be all of them it's just like any other program that a person goes through. I don't care what it is, if it's a weightlifting program or a weight loss program. You have to do all of the steps in order for you to be able to get the best out of it for yourself.
You couldn't have said it better, right? And I went through a program. It had 12 steps in it. And when I first went into that program, I skipped around, right? Because there were some of them steps that were kind of scary.
Kind of hard.
Like, do a personal, searching moral inventory of yourself. I was like,
hard pass.
The answer's C.
You guys got jokes out here. And then after you're done with that list, they're like, hey, y'all remember that show Earl?
Yeah.
Right? He walked around and told everybody he was sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's called an amends list, right? But are you adaptable? What was it? Coachable, dependable, right?
I'm trying to write these down. These are amazing.
Any type of program, you're right, that you embark on, that you invest in yourself with, will have some sort of accountability measures taken. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if those accountability steps are there. It matters, am I willing to wake up and utilize the opportunity that I invested in so that I can become the most elite version of myself? Am I going to dodge Willie's call today? Right?
You're not going to have to dodge my call.
You see what I'm saying? No. Right? Because I you know what I mean? Like, wait, man, I don't even know. Like, I dodged my sponsor's call going through that recovery.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I know you're there. You know, I want to talk to this guy because it's scary to change. Right? It's
because you got to give something up that you like.
You got to
get to where you want to be, right?
Yeah. But can you look at that guy in the mirror without those changes taking place?
We can't be that guy in the mirror. You're just going to be that same old knucklehead.
Yeah. I'm wondering.
Look, man, on that topic right there, it's like, I don't know if you got, I don't know how, did you play sports growing up?
Well, it wasn't regulated sports.
Okay. sports growing up?
Yeah, some.
Okay.
Till I got to to the point where I liked playing the unregulated sports.
Okay, so one of the things that a coach will always tell you in athletics is whenever you're doing those drills, whenever you're running those suicides, whenever you're running whatever stamina type of stuff to get your cardio built up, the coach would always tell you, son, you're not cheating me. You're cheating yourself.
Yes. Sure.
You're cheating yourself. So transcend it or put it over into the life coaching aspect. It is the same exact ideology when you think of it from that standpoint, because we're just like a coach is going to coach you to be the best that you can be in football, basketball, whatever. A life coach is going to make you pull the answers out of yourself. Because I can give you the answers, but it wouldn't be any good. But you got to go through it. You got to go through the process.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right, and appreciate you tying those in together. Right, you're only cheating yourself. Right, and there was a point in time in probably all of our lives that we were okay with cheating ourselves.
Yes,
yeah,
like we were cool with that. Like I was. It didn't make me uncomfortable.
It was easy.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm not gonna run
I'm a
that.
cheater then. You know what I mean? Then, where's the progress?
Coach isn't there to watch you run on the weekends, right? So he's like, you go home this weekend, and I want you to run a 5 on Friday. I want you to run 5 on Saturday. I want you to run 5 on, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, right? And then Monday, come in, practice. He could tell because he'd know how quick you were.
Yeah.
Or even further than that, about the cheating on yourself and the fact that we were okay with it. That's because the level of accountability varies in different situations. So like your example earlier about going to the gym, same thing applies. If a person is truly willing to do what is necessary to get to where they want to be, then they're going to be accountable to themselves first and foremost. And I think it's easy for us as just human beings to be like, yo, I ain't doing it today. I'll pick it up tomorrow. It's always tomorrow. I'm guilty.
And that's what I tell people. Human beings are inherently lazy.
Yep.
Like we are. And it's not our own fault. We were born with free will. We were, that's just how we're hardwired, right? We are when you're born, you're to say somebody takes care of you. We are practically taken care of for the better part of 18 years of a life. And then you're like, oh, go do it your damn self. And like, let's go back to this lady over here. It's way easier. And that's where the cheating yourself kind of thought process comes from, because we get babied, right? But I promise you, go to Afghanistan, right? Go to freaking Cuba. Go somewhere down in Venezuela. Those 5-year-olds are out there making their way, right? Yeah. They're finding their way to drink water. You see what I'm saying? While my 5-year-old is here begging for something dumbass thing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Capri Suns. The Capri Suns, right? You know what I mean? Go somewhere outside your comfort zone, and I promise you, cheating yourself is a whole different process. When I came back from Afghanistan, I was like I had a resentment towards Christmas, and I didn't even know it, right? Because I spent 2 Christmases overseas, and I saw what 90% of the rest of the world was dealing with. I was like, wow, we're some selfish, sorry as people over here in this country, right? Where I'm sitting today. And so it's not that I don't love the Christmas idea and the birth of Christ and all that stuff, but this all like, oh, I gotta have
the
list of bullshit,
the commercialization of it. That's exactly what it is.
Right. And then I'm over here and there's these other people. It's like, wow, they're not cheating themselves. They're living so that they don't die.
Yeah.
Like they don't have shit to cheat themselves from.
Right.
You
might want to write this one down. This is a quote, and I have over 200 quotes that they just come to me like that. But when you're talking about cheating yourself, and when we were talking about getting out of our comfort zones and all of that, this is a quote that I was given by my Lord and Savior. And he basically told me this. He said, in order for the destiny that awaits us will require us to be comfortable with the uncomfortable while we thrive in the unfamiliar. And
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I could tell you, we were in California. I spent the first part of my life in California. And I took my wife back, North Bay Area. So we were at Half Moon Beach, and I was staring out at the ocean, and she took this photo of me. And she said, I've never seen somebody that looked that had so much pain in their face. And I don't know what I was thinking about at that time, but later on, that quote was given to me, and it's the 100% truth, because nothing in life. I mean, were you comfortable when you started your business?
No.
What about you?
No, not even a little bit.
And you said it earlier. When you started doing certain things, I had no idea what I was doing.
Right. I love uncomfort.
Exactly.
Like I do. I embrace it. And maybe it was because of all the uncomfort and discomfort of how I was brought up and raised. I don't know what comfort is.
Mm-hmm.
And so comfort scared me, actually. Right. When things started running smoothly. So I moved 22 times growing up, all in the Dallas Metroplex. My parents were not in the military. We were just like, oh shit, we're moving.
Yeah.
And so
I can relate.
Whenever we were actually in a home longer than like 5 years, like something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, well, something, why aren't we moving? Like it's too comfortable.
Yep.
Something's too eerie. So it was so uncomfortable. I joined the military just so probably I could just keep moving. Right. Because I'm so used to that every so often we're moving. And so I was extremely comfortable being in the Navy because it was constant movement, constant unknowns, constant uncomfortability.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said that, it really resonated because that's the only place I feel comfort is in chaos.
That's
pretty powerful.
That's
man.
very powerful, Mike.
That's pretty powerful.
That's some profound.
But see, what's most powerful about that is that there's somebody out there watching this that feels the exact same thing.
Yeah, they need that.
And
Absolutely.
we don't know who needed to hear it, but somebody needed to hear that exact thing right there. And just like Mike has his own business with his team and everything else, whoever's listening, whoever that was for, you could have the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind.
And here's another thing you need to take away from that, right? Because there are a lot of people who did grow up in some semblance of comfort, maybe even a false comfort, right?
Sure.
Parents never moved, but you got your ass whooped every day, or
Absolutely.
whatever it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
You grew up in a neighborhood, and you were the poorest kid, or you were African American, right? And it's so there's a lot of you're a little girl, right? In a school mostly full of boys, right? So you had to deal with a lot of that shit. And anyhow, point is #sorry Keith. Point is though, we gotta learn this discipline and be committed to getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that truly is a part of, in my opinion, I love the quote, and if I wrote it down right, the destiny
I'll send it to you
that awaits us requires us to be comfortable with being uncomfortable while we wait.
No, while we thrive.
Yeah. In the unfamiliar.
Because if you do it, because I know you said something earlier about words. Think about it. If you're just waiting, you're not really doing anything. You're just sitting there. But if you're thriving, that means you're actually in motion while you are in whatever uncomfortable state you're in.
Yeah.
So basically what that means is that wherever you are, if you're just like Martin Luther King said, if you can't walk, or if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, do something, but just keep moving.
For sure. And we like to call it in Jarheadville, we call that embracing the suck. Like that is the definition of what it means to embrace the suck. Right?
Exactly.
You are definitely comfortable being uncomfortable because some unfamiliar shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're amped and you feel it. And what's really cool is when you have a team and you're all in that same boat and you get this thing called flow state. Right?
It's great.
You start freaking firing all cylinders. Everybody starts thriving together, and you know it, man. I don't have to say nothing. I don't say nothing to nobody, and you can. It's palpable. The air.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous thing. Or It also separates them, the teammates from, you know what I mean? The lions from the sheep or whatever that is, right?
Right, because
It thins the herd.
They'll self the herd will
Thin itself out.
Self thin, right?
And
I mean, we in the West we call that culling from the herd, and the ones that
it's the weak, survival of the fittest. I mean, it's natural. It is natural selection.
Right.
They're
not aligned, and they'll
weed themselves out.
They'll weed themselves
out. And that's the beauty of embracing the suck. That is the beauty of entrepreneurship, right? Everybody wants to be it, but only a few achieve it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I promise you, Willie, I believe you just said you just started this path.
2 years.
2 years. Like, you're in the suck.
Yeah.
Like, you're wondering what the hell you chose to do.
Well,
holy crap, Rins do.
I've been telling you, man. I got this from our pastors that whatever you're doing is a ministry, and if you're not doing it full speed, or better yet, if you haven't done it full speed to the point to where you want to quit, then you ain't doing it.
Right. Half measures of L is nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But so stick with it. Understand that the words that are coming out of your mouth are the same words that he's going to implement on a daily basis. Because I promise you, folks, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, I'll be like, Willie, you better be a master life coach. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? There's going to be account. You've just now had thousands of people hold you accountable. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If we wonder where the doggone Shakebake Media go, shake and bake your way ass out. We ain't trying to do that, man.
Yeah, man.
And that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Right? Because the universe doesn't want you to succeed. The people that surround you don't want to see you become better than them. Right?
I have another quote. You might want to write this one down too.
I'm on it.
Okay.
This is being recorded live in front of a live studio audience.
We got any questions from the crowd?
Questions from it.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen out there, I don't care what walk of life you're in, this applies. But when it was given to me, it was given to me while I was working for somebody else, but thinking about my own business at the same time. So it basically goes like this. Minding your business will increase your business and turn people who want to be in your business, that's good, into wanting to do business with you. So
you just go ahead and repeat it, because I felt you kind of got off track.
Yeah.
And I don't want no distractions, because that's extremely powerful.
Yeah. I'll say it again.
I mean, it's extremely powerful how you're correlating those words together, because I'm listening.
I say, minding your business will increase your business and turn people who want to be in your business into people who want to do business with you. So in a nutshell, don't tell everybody your next move, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's like, I want to say it may have been Megan Thee Stallion. I can't believe I'm quoting Megan Thee Stallion, or it may have been Lido, whatever that chick's name, that said, she said, basically, you're all in my views, but never in my likes. So people are watching you.
Mm-hmm.
And they ain't gonna say nothing until you fall on your face.
That's right. And
you get that?
Got it.
And it's powerful. That's definitely well said. And I kind of got lost track of thought just a second ago, but that happens. When this brain up here starts firing on all cylinders, sometimes it just right out the window. But I love your ideas. I love that you continuously get these quotes, these thoughts of brillianceness. They come to you, and it sounds like, at least you write them down. I come with all these knucklehead quotes. I don't know how to write any of them down. Maybe I should one day. We can just have a quote, Doc's quotes.
Yeah. Book of quotes.
Book of quotes. And man, I know we hit a lot of stuff tonight in regards to understanding, building your team, and firing all cylinders, embracing the suck. understanding Shakebake Media and we got a good idea. So speaking of Shakebake Media, tell our audience, Willie, how can our audience find you? How can we support what you're doing? What can we do for you as the Patriot Business Alliance to help you attain your goals for 2022? Like, what is one of your big, hairy ass audacious goal for 2022 in the Shakebake Media? What is one of your things that you want to, your milestone?
Well, there's different ways you can watch us, listen to us. I'll give all those out if you want me to.
No, you get to. That's why I asked.
Okay, I get to.
Yeah.
This is the shameless plug portion of the
right.
show. Okay,
get you some.
All right, so the Shakebake Media Group, all of the podcasts can be found in iTunes as well as Google Podcasts and Spotify. Those are the three major ones. We do have a YouTube channel. You can just search Shakebake Media Group there. Please hit that button to subscribe as well as the bell. We get daily content, we get content, give new content maybe 4 to 5 times a week. We also have a website that's shakebakegroup.com where you can go and see what we're all about, our life coaching things and the team members that are on the squad. We also have a Roku channel coming up. So we're going to be networking with other people out there that want to have a larger audience. Roku has 40 million viewers, for lack of a better term. So there's money to be made out there. There's exposure to be made out there. Life coaching. My wife and I are offering 20%. Anybody watching this broadcast, 20% off for the first 10 people that actually hit us up on Twitter at Shakebake Media Group. You can DM me there and we'll give 20% off. Now, as far as the goals go, number one, I want to say thank you guys for having me on the show.
Yeah,
Jeff and I talked about this for a long time, and I had to postpone it from last week until this week or 2 weeks ago, whatever. The number one thing that we want to be able to do is to be able to bring people to the mirror so they can see themselves. And if they don't like what they see, we can help them change what they see and they can see something better. And what we need to do that is we need people to just go to our webpage. And, you know, if you're requesting or needing any type of life coaching, the first one is always free. And then after that, we'll discuss a game plan and get you going. But yeah, just make sure you follow us on Twitter and hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and that'll definitely help us out.
Man, that's awesome,
Already
man.
Subscribed.
Looking forward to your success. Like my man Willie said, if you guys are in that spot and you're looking for somebody that can help be held accountable, hit my man up, Shakebake Media Group, the OT.
The OT,
getting your life together with his coaching.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's hard, man. It's hard to be a business owner.
Yeah,
it's hard, but it's worth it.
Yep,
every single time. You got any saved rounds, Casey? We're coming up to the top of the hour.
Just one thing, we talked about embracing the suck and this, that, and the other, and building a culture of that and getting an alignment of that. That takes a lot of work too, right there. And you're right. There's a lot of scary. You had asked me a question. Was I comfortable when I started business? No, sir. Not even a little bit. Not even close. And, every couple of weeks, if not days, you're in another position of discomfort, especially if you're growing and scaling a business, and you got to be thankful. So wins are having those team members who will embrace the suck with you, whether that's in Afghanistan, that's just at the Christmas party, whether they want to do the daily drill, right? They want to improve. They realize the need for it. They realize they need a mentor. They need some life coaching, whatever it is, right? But to have that, so be grateful for that team who's going to lift you up. You're lifting them up, but they are lifting you up.
And, and I'll go back to some of my roots, man. There's just no therapeutic value in sharing your life lessons with another human being.
Yep.
There's just not.
Yeah. You want to be a master at it, teach it.
It is invaluable. No, don't teach it. Share freely. Don't be afraid of the scars. The scars you receive have made me who I am today. And if I was riddled with shame and remorse and all this other bullshit, I would probably be stuck in my mom's basement playing Call of Duty right now. You know what I mean? Like, real talk, because there's like those feelings of regret and shame and disappointment and let down and all this other crap can be crippling, right? It can cripple a person into never wanting to go outside, right? And I've been in that hole. I've looked at that hole, and man, it's just so dark and like, no, you know what I mean? So I came up with a little thing several years ago called Change Your Mindset, Change Your Playground, right? And I so heartily believe that. I had to change the way I thought in order to change the way I live.
Right.
And that began with cutting toxic people out of my life, to adding new people that were better than me into my life, right? Stripping back the onions of who the hell I am. And you know what I mean? All of that stuff that you learn through the trials and pain and the tribulations of life.
Oh my God.
You ready to coach that shit, man?
You said so much right then. And look, I could do this all day, but I know we're pressed for time and I don't want to waste anybody's time, but that's when you can hit us up, because
that's where it's at.
There's so much to unpack.
That's
so much.
Hey, before we go, we want to wish you guys a very, very, very Merry Christmas.
Very Merry Christmas, y'all.
A huge New Year. Casey and I will both kind of be out next Wednesday, but Evan, he's getting on the camera next week, so our reviews are probably going to go through the roof. He's going to be on next Wednesday. Nobody saw you, but I appreciate that.
In the gun.
Yeah, that's it. Appreciate it. I said, thank you. And Jeff, and we may have a special guest to really close down 2021. We're looking forward to a stellar 2022. I've had people come to me after our whiteboard party. Oh my gosh, Casey, tell you what, son, we had that whiteboard party. I think it was this past Friday. Yeah. I don't know why. That's a huge win for the Patriot Business Alliance. Thanks everybody so much. They came out Friday. We had about 20 new faces. Evan was there. I mean, I feel like it went off without a hook. I mean, it flowed really, really well. When it was over, people were like, dude, are you guys going to do this once a month? And so we may be taking one of our Wednesdays and it becoming a whiteboard live networking event. We're going to talk to our audio, video, media guy team. I think we know them. Then see how we can run that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Live networking. And because it's different, they're like, well, this is different. It's not just a bunch of people shaking hands, drinking cold beer. Like, we got raw. Like, what do you really want to do? Yeah. And when we try to sugarcoat it, what happened to him, Evan? I was like, that's not what we're looking for. They got pushed, right? We pulled it out of you. Yep. We want to be vulnerable. We want this to be an unsafe space where we can like call you out on your bullshit. Don't come over here looking for safety, because we're here to make things feel uncomfortable. Yeah. In an unfamiliar place, so that you become comfortable.
So you can thrive.
So that's what you can thrive.
Right.
Speaking of thrive, you can sign up at Thrive. No, I'm totally kidding. Hey, man, you guys have a Merry Christmas. Stay blessed. Y'all. Thanks you again, Willie. We certainly appreciate it. God bless.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure. Appreciate it.